John's just retired from astronautics. He was one of the last men to make a moonwalk. John, are you all right, son? You're white as a sheet and you're trembling.
Nothing I can do. It's happening again. I'm changing.
And in several seconds, we see before us a man-wolf. It runs through the darkness as it hunts its quarry. And that quarry is man. The mark of the man-wolf.
Hello, and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast. This season, we're talking about Marvel's number 2 lycanthrope, John Jameson, a.k.a. the Moonrot Man-Wolf, Old Lobo, the Furry Freak, Night Brute, Fang Snout. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm your other host, Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us this week, listeners. We are here to talk about part 2 of a revival of the Stargod saga. This is the ending that David Kraft and George Perez got to tell 3 years after Creatures on the Loose got axed. If you haven't listened to our last episode yet with Joe Keating, double back around and give a listen to that. We had a great time talking to him, and he was a super fun guest.
Yeah, such a great episode. No, he was perfect. It was a perfect match for that for Marvel Premiere 45. I had such a good time.
I totally agree. And I just want to say thanks. We got some new supporters on Patreon. If you guys want to join them, you can go to patreon.com/werewolf by night podcast. There's several tiers to join, to choose from. And the highest ones get a little shout out from us in our videos and at the end of our show, where we say thank you from the depths of our wolfen hearts.
Damn right.
Damn right. And there's fun stuff too. Well, I think we've got, speaking of business, there's a handful more proposed podcast rebrand names that I need to add to the list, but I think the momentum is slowing down. We're in no rush to, declare one, but I think we've got around 50 or so now. So I think it's a pretty good pool.
There's a lot to choose from. I have my favorites. I'm not going to lie, but I don't think we need to choose anytime soon, or maybe we do. I don't know. When are you feeling it? When do we need to choose our new brand?
Well, I think that we need to do it in the pretty much when we kick off season 3. I think we need to make decisions behind the scenes, because we're going to hire a graphic designer to make a new logo, and we want to have maybe a little bit of merch or some swag kind of made up or something. So stuff behind the scenes has to be ready to go for season 4. So you and I will have to make a decision early on in season 3. And I don't know how much of a break you plan on taking after this season, but I don't think I need a big long one.
No, I don't think we need a break at all. I think we should push through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pod till death.
Damn right. Why not?
Pod or die.
Yeah, pod or die. Indeed.
Yeah, we'll see. Sometimes it's nice on the editing front to take a few weeks off. But,
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Being that you do all the editing and I do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, that moment, when Sisyphus has got the rock to the very top of the hill and he rubs the back of his hand across his brow and goes, whew. And then he turns around and then you hear the stones and the dust and the pebbles start to move slowly.
Yeah.
That's actually really critical for him to keep going, is that one moment.
See, and then he just pushes it and it goes and it falls down the other side, right? And then he does a big dance and...
Oh, is it going down the other side?
Yeah, it goes down the other side.
Oh, I always thought it was just up the hill and then it slid down the same thing and then he just started over again.
No, it does. It does. But I'm just saying that he would win.
You're saying for the purposes of our comedy bit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, way to suck all the life out of it.
Way to step on that.
God.
Yeah. No, I'm a Sartrean, and we must imagine Sisyphus happy, right?
Yeah, why not?
I got like a B+ or an A- on that essay in my existentialism class. So.
Did you? Oh, yeah. Man. Quoting Sartre.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, the whole final or whatever was supporting his position. I think it's a sticky wicket.
It's a sticky wicket.
Mm-hmm.
But you think he loves The Rock? He loves it.
Look, man, if you want me to dig up my blue book, I can find it. But I made a very impassioned, it started slow, And then I was like, the kid in A Christmas Story, like writing his theme. I just like, I was being fed to me by angels. And I was like, I'm not even, the pencil's just moving.
Yeah.
So
Oof, that's some bonus content right there.
So there was one thing we want to reference is that, in this, the Manwolf complete collection that I have, the print that came out in 2019, which is not as easy to find anymore. We're following their order because technically the next issues came out in like 76 or 70 something. So we're going to be going to Marvel Team Up for a couple issues, and these happened in the past. But they thought editorial treated this Stargod saga like a flashback that, this all went down years ago, but we weren't privy to it as Marvel audience.
Okay.
So, and I think that's a good call.
I think it's a good call. I mean, when you do the schedule for these, you have it in chronological by release. Mm-hmm. And then we talked about it and talked about having the Marvel premiere issues. Yeah. Up against 37.
Okay. So
because we originally had those Marvel team ups in between Creatures on the Loose 37 and Marvel Premiere 45, but then we changed it.
All right. Then I went off the online reading guide.
Yeah, you went off the online reading guide, but no, I think that's I think that's fair.
Okay.
Even though, it's a bit of a whiplash. These next the Marvel team up, it's a little different.
Yeah, it is.
Going backwards.
We have a fun little break. Like you and I are going back and forth about whether or not to include the Marvel team up that is features very little Manwolf in the first issue.
Yeah, so we're just going to talk a lot about Frankenstein's monster.
And it's Marvel team up and Spidey.
And Spidey, yes, of course.
And they're setting up the following episode. I'm excited.
Okay. I'm with you. If you're excited, I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
Okay, good.
And I'm particularly excited about this issue because we were loving the last one, the Other Realm, Other War, Stargod, Ascension, all this stuff, Godhood, Godhead. And now we're at the thrilling conclusion.
And it is thrilling.
The second 15 pages of the epic ending.
God, they just give them the bare minimum of pages to finish it in, too.
Yeah. So let's dive in. This is Marvel Premiere number 46, featuring Manwolf. This was published in 2 months after the last one, I believe. So February 79.
Yep. Cover date. Right.
So, yeah. So this cover is George Perez with inks by Terry Austin. Do you have anything to say about Terry Austin?
We did before because he did some inks on Creatures on the Loose.
Signature. That's right. We talked about him already.
Yeah. So he's busier now than when we first saw him. He's not just doing backgrounds on Thor anymore. I think he's in the thick of it. He's doing his shit. He's doing his Terry Austin shit that he's getting famous for. Speaking
of the thick of it, this cover is super busy. This is a scene, a snapshot from the climactic battle here. Forces of good and evil. We have an interesting crowd of people fighting, and there's no colorist credited in the Grand Comics database, but they used color in a very interesting way to show kind of depth and planes of like all this big melee. So there's red in the middle, pink in the back, and purple in the foreground to kind of show like these layers of people to show, it's a sea of battle. And in the middle of that sea is the Manwolf just slashing and hacking and punching people. And in the foreground is a redesigned and pretty natty looking Arisen Tyrk in his Other Realm gear. And he looks like a pretty cool villain. I like this. Yeah, he
does. He looks like a really cool villain on this,
proper
on this
villain.
Cover.
He's not doing some Bob Ross thing and saying, all the time, hunching his shoulders like Clark Kent. This is him in his full evil Emperor Ming form.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he is a god. He is the competing god to our John.
And as Mr. Kraft alluded to in that letter in issue 37 of Creatures on the Loose, he has brought Kristine Saunders to the other realm, and is using her as a pawn against the Stargod. And so he's raising a metal gloved fist up and shrieking towards the man wolf, and it says the saga of the Stargod. As Kristine is clad in yellow, it's like whenever they take the girl as a victim and dress her up in sexy, cool, Oscar award winning costumes.
Yep.
Make her look. So yeah, she's wearing otherworldly garb and looking helpless.
Yeah.
But beautiful.
It's beautiful, helpless. It must be 70s Marvel.
I know. Can you believe that Charlie's Angels was on at the same time? What a strange dichotomy. So what do you think of this cover?
I love it. I think just like you talked about the colors, I wish that Grand Comics Database had listed a colorist on this, because sometimes they do. I mean, I guess maybe like 10% of the time they will. And it's always, and when they do list a colorist, you and I are always kind of shocked, like, wow, it was George Rousseau or this and that. Isn't that crazy? We get excited over very, very little.
Yeah. Well, it's like the opposite of seeing a boom mic in a shot.
It is.
Oh my God, you did something right. You credited a colorist.
You credited someone that did really good work. Good for you. Yeah, but no, I love the color scheme on this. I actually think this is a really great cover. And as far as this is a lot of people on this cover. This might be the most people Perez has done. I honestly think it is, as far as the books that we have been talking about. The cover
to date, not including the 2-page spreads we've seen.
Well, the 2-page spreads too.
What about that last one with the air battle?
Yeah, I guess if you're choosing to count the winged beasts as forms, then yes. But there's a lot of people on this cover.
Okay, there's more people in this one. You're right. I just looked back.
I'm just saying. So yeah, but I love this cover. I love the new Man Wolf logo is on the cover this time and is great. And yeah, Saga of Stargod on the bottom. The lettering and design of these last 2 issues have just been so good. I know we have Diana Albers, I think, is Diana Albers is still doing letters. And yeah, she does a great job. So no, I think this cover definitely does its job. If you were seeing this on the stands, you would definitely pick it up.
One thing that I think, and it's a shame that the colorist isn't credited, like I was saying, because this would be a kind of a mess if this were just kind of a gray wash over these warriors.
Yeah, it really
would be too busy. But the fact that they put this in here, it actually separates it and clarifies it. So I don't know. I was impressed.
No, it is impressive.
Cool. The last thing is, the little portrait in the upper left corner in the numbers box, whatever the hell it's called.
Oof. Rough.
I don't know what happened. I think George forgot to copy and paste one from the previous issue or something, which is perfectly serviceable. But this one looks like have you seen Phantasm? Like when the tall man crushes down the corpses and reanimates them, and there's little like Jawa things. He looks like a wolfen version of that, or like from the first Troll movie, not Troll 2, the Italian one.
No. What happened? Like what happened?
Know.
It's so weird. It's the worst thing about the issue.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right.
But well, we won't focus on that. That's our one criticism for the issue. And let's move on to the opening page. So our creators for this issue are David Kraft story, George Perez, and Ricardo Villamonte art, Carl Gafford colors, Diana Albers letters, Roger Stern editor, and Jim Shooter is editor-in-chief. So did you see on Grand Comics Database that it listed George Perez as just doing the breakdowns? And Villamonte did the finished art. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I did not notice that at all. I just checked the cover credit.
I can kind of tell. I mean, the art is different than last issue. I think the art is great, but I think it's a little inferior to last issue where you got the full Perez pencils and Frank Giacoia inks. I think that I can tell it suffers slightly in this issue, but not enough to really make it a big deal at all. But I noticed a difference.
No, I see what you're saying. There's a few faces here and there where I was wondering what was going on. Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, which is strange because I was looking and like Perez is he had taken a break from the Avengers, but I think he's coming back on this month. He's not doing a ton of stuff, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe there was a rush. Maybe he was busy doing the Avengers. I don't know. He's not doing a ton of books right now.
Probably had a cramp in his hand.
Yeah, no, from drawing all those figures. So, but I don't know. I was excited to get. Ricardo Villamonte is pretty awesome, and he. Yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with him mainly from Skywald, I would assume, because he's all over fucking Skywald.
Yeah.
So he got his start there in 1972. He stayed there for about a year or so. Moved over to DC, did some work on the anthology horror books like House of Mystery, Weird War Tales, Weird Mystery Tales. So I know him from those as well. And then he actually, I think I have one or two of his issues. He went over to Western and did the inks on the Twilight Zone comic for a couple issues. So, yeah, he did a lot of stuff. His first Marvel credit was on Doctor Strange 25 from October of 77. So he hasn't been at Marvel all that long at all. I think on that Doctor Strange issue, he's inking over pencils by Pablo Marcos.
Ooh.
So, yeah, a couple of Skywald boys playing in the color comics. Which, I mean, Pablo Marcos had been working in the color comics for about a year, but, he was just on the Curtis magazines for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he did, the greatest work of his career on those magazines, obviously. Tales of the Zombie, Legion of Monsters, just great, great shit. But so at this time at Marvel, Villamonte's main gig has been doing inks on the Human Fly. So, it's a living.
Yep. Was that an ongoing that just didn't last long, or was that meant to be a limited series?
No, it was an ongoing. I mean, I think it's at issue like 17 or 18 at this point.
It went that long?
I'm pretty sure.
Do you know anything about that? I've held issues of that in my hand since I was like 10, and long boxes and been like, this can't be good. Well,
didn't Joe say that it had something to do with organized crime last episode?
He said the mob like owned the character or something and like coerced Marvel. I don't know. Maybe I'm insinuating, or
No, because the Human Fly, I mean, I think it was like a Daredevil character. It was like not our Daredevil, but like an evil Knievel type Daredevil
who lived in our world. Yeah,
yeah, who did live in our world.
He was a Marvel property. Who Marvel had the rights to license his likeness to do a comic book of him.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, did he mix with, like, was there Spider-Man and Human Fly teaming up on something?
I'm like you. I've held the issues in my hand at like antique stores where it's like $2. And I'm like, well, if it was $1, I might pick it up, but I don't know if I'm going to spend $2 on this. And so, yeah, I have yet to read an issue of Human Fly, but maybe I will. Maybe it's on Marvel Unlimited and I can do it for cheap.
I like the villain, the Fly, that showed up in Spider-Man. I think there's been a couple of them, and
yeah, for sure.
In the Brand New Day era, he got mutated and vomited acid.
Oh,
he
shit.
actually turned into like a fly guy.
Okay. Brundlefly.
Yeah, very Brundlefly.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the opening page, title of our story is Stargod. Not the saga of Stargod, as it promised on the cover, but we haven't had a whole lot of correlation between cover title and story title, if ever, really, on this book. So yeah, and so we see it opens with Gorjun and Manwolf, who are kind of chopping their way through the forest, as we kind of found them from last issue. I do love that Gorjun is still saying, he says, "We're getting close, Fang Snout." That's just what he calls his god, his living god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I marveled at that throughout this issue. Like, quite a bit of sass.
He's sassy with his deities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good for you, Gorjun. So yeah, John says to him, "But why aren't there any guards, Gorjun? Even if Arisen Tyrk still thinks we're dead, he'd still have his goons out keeping down a general uprising." And then, because this is technically shooter era, here's our little explanation. This is the other realm, a strange and mystical land in a state of civil war between the forces of good and evil. The people here have told John Jameson, the man-wolf, that he is their god. Return to rid the realm of the pretender Arisen Tyrk. He has seen the people who trusted him cruelly murdered, and he's going to have his revenge. Yep, that's the story.
That is. Yeah, I like on the second read through, I like that we see that coiled vine in the foreground that's going to come into play here in a few pages. It's like,
yeah.
they were laying all the tracks here. This is actually pretty thoroughly well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm digging it. I wish his chainmail had lasted a little longer. I mean, I kind of like the battle torn look. I always like the battle ravaged versions of any character, but I really like this uniform. Like,
I know.
You know, we weren't huge fans of the radiation suit version. I mean, it's okay, but this stuff, man, is so sharp looking, the design.
Yeah, it's cool. I was a little bummed out. It got tore up.
Yeah. So one thing that's odd is when you were talking about the cover, you said, oh, this is like they're using the new Man-Wolf logo, but that was actually last issue.
Okay.
That premiered. And what's weird to me is that on the little, what'd you call the box at the top? What did we decide those were called?
Corner box?
Hmm?
The corner box?
No, in the splash page, the little text.
Oh, the masthead?
Masthead, thank you. They went back to the furry font.
I know. That's weird, right?
That was weird to me. And then I do like this where it says Stargod. Whatever this from like 1968 on, like whenever 2001 came out, there's that weird computer font. It's all blobby and weird. Where just like the punch holes in certain letters are in kind of odd places and not centered.
Yeah.
If somebody knows what that official, like original computer print font is from, named from like the 60s, I would love to know.
Yeah, like the actual font name.
Yeah.
No, but you just said it. Like any of the holes in the letters look like punch holes, like from a computer punch card. You know?
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, so we cut back to on page 2. They're tromping through the jungle. They find some water, and John Stargod is kind of like, so the inlet of a bay, is that the trick? Does Turk live underwater? And Gorge's like, not quite. Try looking up, because no one ever looks up. And he looks up, and there's a starburst of surprise, and he sees in this huge panel that takes up 2/3 of the page a giant fortress floating on a giant inverted mountain. So it's like, an upside down triangle essentially of rock with a fortress floating on top and a bunch of other just kind of mountains floating around it, because we learned last time that
cool.
Our spatial whatever doesn't work the same here. And he says, there it is, the impregnable palace of Arisen Tyrk. In the foreground, both of their heads are looking up at it, and it looks pretty formidable.
Yeah, it does. No, this is a great page. We get the two moons, right? Or
yeah,
it's very, very cool looking.
I had a question before you jump onto the next page. I kind of was thinking this the first time I was looking at the cover. Probably just Kristine kind of gave me some Princess Leia vibes. I don't know. It's 78 or 79 now when this actually hit the stands. So the summer of 77, Star Wars changed the cinema world as far as like blockbusters. And I'm just wondering, I wonder if part of the decision on somebody's part was just like, I should have looked up. I'm sure Michelle's screaming at us right now. Like, when was the first Star Wars adaptation issue published or whatever? Like did someone behind the scenes go, you had that story that was very Flash Gordon, and Star Wars is essentially Flash Gordon ripoff with some Kurosawa in there. Like, it's of Joseph Campbell. Like, let's just, why don't you do that thing? Let's see if it takes off.
So maybe, maybe that was a little bit of the, the zeitgeist, if you will, it changed a bit. And so, I can see Stern and then maybe Shooter being like, yeah, go for it, boys.
Because it's essentially a space opera, swashbuckling space opera, which, Italy was cranking them out probably at this time. Like every single studio in Cinecittà, whatever it's called, was just making Star Wars ripoffs in
the greatest
Crash.
Being Star Crash.
Of course.
which is the greatest by far.
Because Carolyn Monroe.
Yeah, because of Carolyn Monroe, obviously.
If I could finish that time machine I'm making out of beer cans, there's another time where we are together.
You are, and you're so happy.
And I convinced her not to do that short-lived, ill-advised disco career that she tried. That was bad. You ever heard her music?
No.
Oof. Ooh. There's a really sleazy, like unpleasant British slasher called "Do Not Open Till Christmas" that she was in, and she only appears in it like at a club scene singing her new single. You know, it's one of those like things where it's just shoehorned in. And boy, I will send you like a YouTube clip. It is bad.
Oh no!
Somebody should have talked to her.
I want those records though.
Yeah, I imagine there's quite a bit of cocaine going on back then. You know.
Yeah.
To convince somebody like you aren't professionally trained to sing, but you can be a disco singer.
Yeah. No. I'm surprised she wasn't in The Apple.
Yeah, I've never actually seen The Apple.
Oh, The Apple's great.
Good.
It's truly
Is the
great.
Music good?
I mean, no, it's awful. I mean, the whole thing is awful, but it's really, really entertaining. I don't know who did the music, but it's very entertaining. So yeah, okay. Sorry. Back to Marvel.
I'm not going to apologize for any asides because I've got a weird brain today. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm not sorry. God damn
don't
it.
be sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Yep. That's right.
What does Homer say? I don't apologize. I'm sorry. That's just the way I am.
Yep. Oh man. All right. So next page, Gorjun is looking up at the floating castle and he says, "That's where the creep spins his web," which I loved. I don't know why I loved that. He says, "Only question is, how do we get up there?" And Manuel says, "Trust me, Gore, we must make preparations if we are to free our companion. So when night comes, the night of the wolf." He gets very formal there. Mm-hmm. He gets very action hero formal. And then I like that he gives him this like pep talk and the music is swelling. Mm-hmm. And then they sit down and make rope out of vines for hours.
I, for some reason, I didn't realize that's what they were doing like at first, but like when I was looking, I was like, I like where he's kind of like, we just have to wait till night comes, and they just sit down and just stare at the moon, like the horizon, waiting for night. Yeah. It's like Gorjun's like, "Hey, Stargod, shh, we're waiting for night."
The night of the wolf. Yeah. No, they're keeping their hands busy. They're getting that coiled vine together. I'm hoping I don't know. Yeah, they're preparing.
One thing I did skip over of the last page was that it talks about the lambent gem, which glows ever brighter at his throat as his anger grows.
Lambent.
So lambent for one, but then also like you were saying here, how he gets kind of formal. In my mind, that's like, I mean, by the end of this thing, he's accepted his power and his stature he talks as a god. So I feel like it's kind of leaking through, like the closer he gets to his destiny.
Oh, it is.
These little things are popping up where it's like, he's not choosing to say that. It's just coming out of him. Does that make sense?
No, that makes total sense. I mean, it's the Godstone. It's taking over his mind, which makes a lot of sense. So yeah, they wait till nightfall in the cool light of the realm's twin moons. And then they've made a raft too. So they've done preparations. like they had work to do before the sunset. So they make a cool raft. They have lots of rope now. Gorjun's reminding him that he can't swim. and Manuel's like, "There won't be any swimming to do, Gore. Just give me your staff and the coiled vine. Even Tyrk must have a soft underside, a way we can approach him. I'm going to take that metaphor literally." And then he takes his badass knife off of his thigh and takes it, affixes it to Gore's staff. And yeah, he's ready.
At 12, I would have been had a heart boner and a brain boner right now. But yeah, as a man who's tried to build things and stuff, like there's too many points here where I was like, okay, you can't just stick a dagger and a staff and then tie a vine to that. Like, I love it in theory, but I've built things and had them fall apart of my ass way too many times.
You've gone camping way too many times and been drunk and being like, I can make this. I can make something good.
Yeah, that's a broken tent strut. How hard can it be to replace this plastic rod?
Yeah, well, maybe you just need alien coiled vine. Maybe it's a lot more versatile than we're giving it credit for, Matt.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that is. That's the fix. That's the workaround there.
So I'm loving everything about this situation. The floating castle, at sea on a Zelda raft. Like everything's perfect for me right now.
It is. And I love the team up of Gorjun and John. They're a perfect team.
Yeah. And so on the next page, Gorjun's like, you're going to try and throw that makeshift spear all the way up there? You're crazy, Furface. And John says, not crazy, mad. Mad as hell. And he just chucks it. And it goes soaring towards the bottom of the fortress. And Gorjun's looking up, shocked. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. And it goes chathonk and sinks heartily into the bottom of this stone of this floating mountain. And John says, see? No swimming, just a leisurely climb. And Gorjun's like, well, and John's already like, the gym class alpha male, just like halfway up the vine. He's like, come on, where's your holy zeal, Gore? Now that we're on the enemy's threshold. He's like, I feel like I'm getting stronger by the minute. And Gorjun's just like looking down at him from the raft like, oh, shit. Yeah, I know that feeling, being the beta male in gym
my
class.
God. I mean, this gave me gym class flashbacks that did not feel good. Just like, man was not meant to climb a rope.
Nope. And like, I'm a strong swimmer, but I don't like swimming at night in unfamiliar water.
No.
And I don't have acrophobia, but I don't want to be this high up hanging from a spear with a knife shoved in its butt and tied by a vine. So like this is like 8 anxieties piled on top of each other to me.
But don't you love it that Gorjun is all of us? Like he is as scared as we would be.
Yep. And there's this beautiful bottom row here where we see the multiple moons and some different cosmic kind of radiation light coming through and just stars sparkling. It's a very fantastic scene. And Manwolf says, how are you holding up down there? He's like, fine. Just fine. He's like, well, we're almost there. Hey, don't swing the vine so much. You might loosen it. That's like, again, like your anus just goes, tightens up. Like, but the raft is drifting away. What if I slip? And Manwolf just says, don't.
He's turned into an asshole gym teacher all of a sudden. He really has. God, just giving Gorjun the shit. So yeah, it continues on the next page. John's like, there, that's it. Give me your hand. Now comes the really fun part of this. He starts climbing up the rock, and Gorjun's like, no!
Free climbing. I mean, you guys know this is right. Like free climbing, when you don't have a rope, you don't have an anchor, you're climbing a mountain, a sheer cliff, or even like in this case, you're literally upside down and hanging with your fingers into like nooks and crannies on the rock and just trusting your grip. Fuck,
yeah, but it is like even the second or third time reading through this, I'm like, Gorjun is all of us.
Yep.
He's reacting like any of us would. He's just like, fuck at this.
Yep.
He's
Shouldn't
scared.
have had that last board, that last skin of wine. God damn it. What was I thinking?
So yeah, he's just holding on to his arms around John's neck as he's free climbing up. And he says, listen, Fang Snout, if you'd meant for us realmites, TM, to climb, you wouldn't have given us winged lizards to ride.
Haven't we all been there when we're talking to God?
Man. So there. He says, I keep telling you I'm not your god. Gorjun says, maybe, but you'll do until somebody who throws a meaner javelin comes along. John's like, enough, there's a guard. Work your frazzled nerves out on him. Gorjun says, with pleasure, and has his he has his fancy rod back and zaps the guard.
To atoms,
yeah, just disintegrates him. And John says, work your way in through a side door and take out every guard you see while I follow a slightly more direct route. Gorjun's thinking like, aye, you're the Stargod, all right. I only pray you know it when the time comes. And yeah, John just is climbing up the side of the tower.
So this is completely fucking badass. Like,
yes,
he is growing in strength as each panel goes along and the closer he gets to this final showdown. So, I mean, this is like a giant marble column, like 10 feet in diameter. And he's essentially just like sinking his claws in it like it's wet clay and just like, just like he's so strong now.
Yeah, it's really badass. But you're right. I mean, it's just ramping up every page again, just like it did last issue.
Mm-hmm. So he makes his way up to a little grated window, and he looks through, and he's out of this. It says, He finds his goal by his scent, or by its scent. It's a hard place to miss. The odor of human sweat, the coppery tang of dried blood, and worst of all, the sour, sweet leper smell of Tyrk's Inquisitor. He looks through the bars and sees Duna tied to a giant cement wheel, shackled, and Garth is suspended from the ceiling, spread-eagled. And the Inquisitor says, "Are you feeling well, my dear?" And Garth's pissed, and he's got a little 5 o'clock shadow going on, a little George Michael beard. He's like, "You gloating jackal, free us or face the Stargod's wrath." And the Inquisitor's a trippy looking dude. I thought it was a bad coloring job at first, but it's not. It's his design. He has like silver brows and like temples and chin, and the rest of his face, it's like a domino mask with whites like Robin, and
it's
flesh
weird.
colored. Yeah, and it's a really trippy design. And so, he threatens him like that, and the Inquisitor says, "Your wolf cub god is dead, arrogant one. Fall into the same cavalry fight that took you prisoner." And then he goes up to Duna and grabs her by the face and gets real close and intimate with her. And he's, such a pretty one. What shall we do with her? And she's, if you recall, she's been through the torture pits before. She says, "Do your worst. I've been in this kind of chamber before. Duna will not cringe." And he says, "Oh, I've no doubt of that. But you'll lose more than a hand this time, much more." And in the background, you can see the man wolf gripping the bars and his gemstone just glowing brightly like he's fucking furious. And he just screams no, and his gemstone, the weird stone, is blindingly white. And we get another one of those crazy backgrounds where the Inquisitor whips his head around and goes, "Who?" And it looks like that weird alien language again. And
we're going to, I think that we should take these, because this is the third time it's happened in Perez in his issues. We need to take these, post all of them on social media and see if someone knows if there is an actual terminology for this.
Oh, I thought you were going to say if the couple that was the Zodiac code breakers or whatever are still alive.
Yeah, break this code.
So we keep ratcheting up badassedness. The Inquisitor whips his head around and goes, "Who?" And then Manwolf jumps in. He's kind of doing a flying kick, but it doesn't matter because he has a sword out and slashes. I think he cuts the guy's head off. We don't see it.
He cuts the guy's head off.
It just says "schlock," and there's just an explosion of red behind him. So all bets are off. We're taking they're showing, no quarter, no prisoners taken. Manwolf is furious, and it's time for everyone to pay the price for.
Yeah, there's a body count for sure. Yeah.
Bark.
Yeah, no, Sashiel and Bark need to be avenged, and he's going to do it. So on the next page,
I love that page.
Yeah, that page is great. It's really, really cool. Yeah, especially that last panel. Mm-hmm. Even though, the anatomy, it was a little weird to me at first. I think just because of the green of Manwolf's costume and the green of the Inquisitor, but it still makes sense to me. It's a little weird though. Yeah,
the Inquisitor's arm up in the air kind of threw me for a second. Like it seemed too big, and I just kind of I questioned everybody's anatomy for a minute, but I knew exactly what was happening, and I loved what was happening.
Yes, yeah, you're right. So on the next page, John frees his companions and asks, "Where's Lambert?" And Lambert appears out of the shadows saying, "Here I am, but a wizard without hands is of little use." So his hands have been chopped off and replaced with like legs, eggs kind of things. Like I didn't quite know what it was.
They're like on your tires, how you have when you fill your tires up, there's that little the chromie cap,
okay,
just to keep pebbles and shit and dirt out of there so that the valve doesn't get triggered. It's like when you don't have a stump, when you don't have a tool on your stump where your hands were, you just have these like, what would you call them, blinds, slugs. Like they're just the default. Like,
okay,
you don't want to get stuff in there.
No, you don't want to get stuff in there. But I like how enough time has passed. Everyone has George Michael beards.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. Yeah. So it's they're very distressed at this. Duna's like, "Oh, Lambert, not that." But John says, "You still have your knowledge. We will be your hands. Are there other prisoners here, Garth?" Garth says, "Indeed, a dozen or more." John says, "Then free them. We must join Gorjun and seek out Tyrk. Release the others now while I dispose of our guardian ghoul." And so, yeah, you're right. I mean, he's just in full badass mode. And I love that. Yeah. I mean, the weird stone is just glowing brightly through the whole thing.
It's
like,
white
you're right. I think
with a red rim now.
Yeah. It's so great. It's getting brighter and brighter, which I think is so cool. And it's fitting with his personality and him accepting his godhood as every page turns. So yeah, it's very fitting.
That last panel when he is barking those orders literally to his party, and he's opening the prison door and jumping out into the hall to kill that guy. That last panel, it looks like a barking dog. Like he looks like an actual dog. It's rad.
Yeah, it is.
And I love these two panels when he first says, "Where's Lambert?" and he says, "Here I am," and we see him stepping out of the shadows slowly into this kind of like highlight, like lambent light over him, his features. I thought, oh my God, he's like got turned evil. Something weird happened to him. And he steps out and you see that he's missing his hands, his instruments to do his work with. That was so sad. And his expression is so mournful.
His expression is great. His
collar's up and it's a lot like Dr. Strange's. And it's even got that weird crushed velvet, like that weird fine little squiggly line that artists do. Like that, I immediately thought of Stephen Strange, like what this would feel like to Strange to lose his hands. So I felt like this was a really emotive, sad sequence here.
I thought it was very Stephen Strange as well. And we know that, Villamonte has experience inking on Doctor Strange issues. So yeah, I think that came in handy when he came to ink or to do the finished art on this. Again, I mean, I think he did justice to Perez, in his kind of the high bar that he had. Like the art is really, really good. It's just a little different.
Yeah, agreed. Particularly in faces.
Faces for sure. I think when Perez did his breakdowns, I don't think any of the faces were done. I think Villamonte did all the faces. This is what I feel.
And like I'm not going to jump ahead over my page to your page, but there's a page after the one I'm about to cover. There's some henchmen with guns, and there's something about the way that the features of the faces are done that it's not Neil Adams, but it's like this weird. I can't think of who it reminds me of, but it's very not Perez.
It's a little Neil Adams.
Yeah,
that was who
Byrne?
I first thought.
I don't know. Like it's like
a little Byrne. Yeah,
Neil Adams. I don't know. Anyway. Back to the action. The man-wolf had jumped out into the hallway and told those guys his people to go free everyone else. And then he has murdered another guard. Swack. He swipes down. It happens off screen, but he just killed a bald guy violently. And Garth appears with all the freed warriors and says, all right, still they stand with us and fight. And he says, John says, and follow me and strike. And they storm into this big chamber. This is a big Harryhausen sword and sandal kind of epic thing here going on. And Man-Wolf says, I'll have Arisen Tyrk's head tonight if it means cutting my way through hell itself. And Gorjun says, tough words, Wolfie. Again, this is his god. and he snaps back, Gorjun! And Gorjun says, none other. What took you so long? And there's this cool, like Kirby-ish panel. It just says, Kwoof! And it's magenta with a bunch of blue and black rock, like exploding from a big blast. And Man-Wolf says, no, it's impossible. And we get this last panel of like all of their shocked, horrified faces looking at what we haven't seen yet.
Yep. No, this is a great page. And I agree. I think that strange panel of them, burst out. It was him blasting through the wall, right? But the kawamf and just the colors, everything. And I love that panel. It's such a great action panel. So on the next page, we see what they are shocked at, which is we have a big yelling of Man-Wolf saying, Kristine! And we see Kristine dressed in the fantasy finery that we saw her in on the cover, being held by Arisen Tyrk with a sword to her throat. And she says, the Man-Wolf speaking? And then Tyrk says, yes, Jameson, I abducted your fiancé as a precaution should those sniveling wolf worshippers get to you before I did. And then, at the bottom of that, it's a long rectangular panel. And at the bottom, we see those henchmen. And they don't look like Perez figure or faces. They do look kind of a little bit Neil Adams, little Byrne, but different than what we've seen.
And Tyrk looks a little Byrne-ish or Adamsy as well in that panel. Like,
Mhm.
and I know it's just a slight inking thing, but the way Christine's eyes are in that first panel, she looks like Chrissy Snow or something in the Three's Company. Like, she looks a little ditzy, and I don't think it was intentional.
I hope it wasn't intentional, but
Did
yeah,
I eat Jack's cake for the cooking contest?
yeah, it does look a little bit like that, which doesn't quite fit the drama of the moment, but that's okay. Then yeah, Tyrk says, "Hear me, pretender, my sword is sharp. I will kill her, Jameson, if you do not surrender to me." Yeah, Christine is like, "John?" John says, "Yes, Kristine, it's me." Tyrk says, "And what is your answer, creature, eh?" And Garth is there saying, "Never, if we must all die to defeat you." He says, "Down." And then, so this was I actually had to read this. I had to look at this twice because I'm like, oh my God, John just totally punched Garth in the face. It's just like, down. So yeah, that must have, and everyone looks really shocked, as they should, because God just punched you in the face because you thought you were trying to do his will, which is kind of, that's par for the course with God, you know. Anytime any of his followers want to, you know, think they're doing right, he does come and punch them in the face. I think that's any religion. That's that is what God does.
But when you're just a NASA dude and you're like, oh my God, this guy dragged my girlfriend to another world. And this guy's like, we'll all die if we have to.
Yeah. So John shuts that shit down quick.
Yeah. And fast. So I have a question. On this page, Tyrk's very fucking cool headset, whatever his headpiece is, has a blue gemstone that is glowing. And he keeps referring to John as being the pretender. Did Kraft tell us in the letter like what Tyrk's claim to the whatever the throne or the godhood is?
Maybe I need to go back and read that. But yeah, it was. But I noticed that too, and maybe that's one of the story points that would have been fleshed out had we gotten the 30 issues of this that we needed to fully flesh out every bit of Kraft's high school story.
Okay, so we get kind of a 2-page spread here. There is a large panel that goes across 2 pages in the upper half of the page. And this is a panorama of the battle this is the throne room, right? And so yeah, this is actually quite a bit going on here.
There is. So
if Manwolf just socked Garth for saying we're all willing to die to end your reign, and Manwolf is holding Garth, unconscious Garth. He just knocked him out because remember he's God powered now, so it's like the Hulk punching his friend.
Yeah,
and Garth is completely unconscious. He's holding him up by the back of his chainmail shirt, and everyone's kind of freaking out, going, "But Savior!" And then he punches Gorjun. "Stand back! You fools, do as the Stargod commands!" And then he says, "Tyrk, I must have time to consider." And Tyrk says, "Of course, Stargod. I gave you 5 minutes, but no longer." So yeah, this was all about give me time to think. Guys, shut up.
Yeah.
Do you want door 1, door 2, or door 3?
Yeah.
So Garth has rallied and says, he must be killed. And Manwolf says, he's holding a sword to the throat of my fiance, blast it. Don't you understand? I'm not of this world. If it weren't for this nightmare stone, I'd be human, married to Chris, at peace with the world. We get a really cool close-up of his glowering, baleful red eyes as he's ruining the moment he ever picked this goddamn rock up and showed it to Sarson.
Rock Sarson.
And then, mortal sin here, as far as like I know with women, Tyrk is holding Christine's hair up, and he just goes swack with his sword and cuts off like a foot of her hair.
Yeah,
like most women I know would have turned around and gouged his eyes out, like literally right then, without even thinking.
I mean, I should hope so.
But she just kind of looks down and kind of holds her head in her hands, like, "Oh no!" And Manwolf continues, "And our world will be dead, boss." Oh no, that's sorry. Someone else says, "And our world, probably Gorjun, and our world will be dead, boss. Weigh that in your balance of facts." And then Tyrk says, 3 minutes, Jameson, and then my blade claims her life. And then time works differently here. So he says, 2. And then Lambert says, John. And John says, Lambert, I can't. And there's a nice little speech here from Lambert. It says, no, listen to me. The stone is our God, but now you are one with the stone. Haven't you noticed how strong you've become? You must choose, John, to trust his lies or to trust yourself. And he continues, he will not stop here, you know. Give in now, and Arisen Tyrk will soon be invading your Earth. You must look within. And then we cut back to Tyrk holding Kristine and a really weird, cool, one of those corpse soldiers. But he looks like Manny Faces or like some weird little like 80s toy.
Oh, he totally does, yeah.
As he's like looking at Tyrk, and Tyrk says, your time is almost up, Kristine. A pity I shall have to kill you no matter what he decides. But a god cannot afford the weakness of mercy. So, much to no one's surprise, Tyrk's going to kill her regardless of what John says. So, he's a complete turd.
Yeah, but
we get
wow,
one of the best pages of the whole goddamn issue that you get.
Oh, it's so good. Like everything about it. My God, that panel that goes across 2 pages on the top. Holy shit. Mm-hmm. It's fucking masterful. And yeah, Lambert's speech is really good. I mean, it's a you can do it Duffy Moon moment for sure.
It's well written, and I love that bottom middle thing where he first starts the speech and he's kind of half cast in shadow and he's kind of looking up slowly. It's like kind of Sam Elliott kind of quality to him. It's just like, damn, this is where the lone violin, right? All of the orchestra would have like echoed out, and this is where the one lone violin or the one flute or whatever starts playing, and he's like, you know, whatever the Braveheart shit is.
Yep, that's right. So yeah, on the next page, Tyrk sees the man-wolf approach, and he says, pretender, what is your answer? Grovel, and I shall make your death swift. And then John is pointing towards him in one of his badass poses and says, man, monster, god, I don't know what I am, Tyrk, but I'll never stop fighting you. And if you hurt Kristine, devil, I will tear your throat out with my own claws. Tyrk's like, you'll never get that far, fool. Shoot him down. And then as like Tyrk's guards advance, and then there's a little narration at the bottom, but you know that John is hearing it in his head, where it's like, you must look within. Yeah, it is.
Totally.
It says man wolf does. And then, God, one of my favorite panels of the whole fucking issue is this middle one.
Oh, it's the
just,
best of the series. Like,
it's so fucking cool. It's just his eyes just start glowing, like the light is exploding out of him. It's this red, pink, purple. And in his mind, it says bark, Sashiel, and now Kristine. And he says no. And then the next panel, he says no, a little louder. And Tyrk's sword suddenly like turns into pink steam, like a sword just is, discorporates.
He's transmuting matter now.
He is transmuting matter. He's like, what, my sword? And then that final panel, he just screams no, and the light from him just shoots out towards the 3 henchmen that were advancing on them and just disintegrates them. Like it's just a giant power surge from the stone. So cool.
Very much like reminiscent of like the A-bomb, or something like that. It's Gamma Bomb has nothing on this.
No, it's really cool. And Gafford with the colors has done really well this issue as well.
I totally agree.
He's done really well. Yeah,
that top middle panel where he's like pointing at him in that mighty pose and says, I'll never stop fighting you. That's like, to me, that taps into like 10-year-old like me, where it's like, if you forgot what it's like to be a kid, like just, this makes you feel like you're riding your fucking dirt bike down a hill as fast as you can, pumping your fist in the air.
Yeah.
And like you're listening to Europe Final Countdown on your fucking shitty Walkman. Like you feel alive.
Yep.
Again.
It's such a good way of describing it.
And so one of these weird undead henchmen hops down and says, my sword stopped you before, blasphemer. He says, but only once and never again. And he punches an uppercut. It says, boom!
Explodes.
And it just explodes like he was nitroglycerin. And then we get this cool panel in the foreground, ringing around the bottom and up the side. It's just a bunch of guns like going all pointed down at him on the floor of the ballroom or the throne room. He says, "Never again will you or your unliving lackeys harm anyone, Tyrk. Your evil is at an end." And he says, You can't stop me. These guns together have enough power to level one of your world's cities. That was a little weird, but okay.
Yeah.
And he says, "I shall not be denied my God right. Fire!" And sure enough, there's a and we're just blinded by all of this gun activity. And he says, "You live? But this cannot happen." And his blue gemstone is glowing brighter. And he says, "But it has, Tyrk." And this last panel is so fucking cool. It's blue background with Kirby crackle and black. And in the foreground, the wolf is cast in pink and black shadow with white glowing eyes as smoke is kind of drifting off of him from this explosion. And he says, "Finally, I realized why you so desperately coveted this wretched stone. For its power is truly beyond imagining. Finally, I see that in this world, with this gem, I am God. My will is supreme."
Holy shit.
It just peaked.
Yeah, this is the peak. Well, yeah, and then the next page, we get a full page illustration of Tyrk's castle exploding. And at the bottom, at the top, John's final words are, "And I will suffer your evil no more." And then the narration is so great. So we have the exploding fortress. And the narration says, "In times to come in the other realm, minstrels will sing of this night, of the time the sky mountain outshone for one brief moment the sun, of the extinguish of deadly evil in the cleansing fire, of night bright embers falling into the sea, there to hiss and die." Yeah, so cool. And this is another time where I think this narration comes verbatim from Kraft's high school novel.
Yeah,
you know
that
this was, you can totally tell, like we've been able to tell every time without, I have no doubt about it.
Minstrels will sing of this.
Minstrels
like, come on,
will sing of this night.
You know, in like 65, he was like, "Minstrels. Oh yeah, that's good. Minstrels will sing of this."
Oh, I would have loved to have been friends with Kraft in high school.
The lettering of that onomatopoeia is so fucking cool. That Dakum.
Yeah, it's not. It's fine. I think just because Joe last issue mentioned Workman, and I was like, this isn't Workman-esque, but it's as good in parts. Like it's such good lettering. Like all of the onomatopoeias, a lot of the stuff up there, like Manwolf's last words of "I will suffer your evil no more." Like Diana
Drop
Albers,
shadows.
man, she is the shit.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, it's so cool. Yeah, what a great page. Holy shit.
Yeah, the next page says we get to see the aftermath of this this explosion, and it says they will sing those songs and more. And then we go back to the throne room, and all of the heroes are like looking around each other like, "What the we're alive." And Garth says, "And all of Tyrk's fortress and minions were swept away, but we stand unharmed." And Manwolf is holding Kristine in his arms, and Garjun says, "Listen, what good's a Stargod who can't pick who to blast? I knew it would turn out like this all along." And then they all cheer, "Huzzah! Hail Savior! Hail Stargod!" And Lambert says, "Quiet, comrades. Our God has other matters on his mind just now." When in the background, he is standing, hip to hip with Kristine, looking deeply into her eyes as one of the moons of the other realm is in the background. And he says, "Kristine, how can you stand to even look at me? I'm a freak." She says, "No, John, you're different now. Before you were," and then he turns away from her, "I was a killing animal. Now they say I'm a god. But what am I really, Chris?" And she hugs him and says, "You're you. Don't you see? It wasn't the god or the monster who saved us all. It was John Jameson, the spirit within you." And his moonstone starts to glow, or Weirdstone starts to glow. And Gorgiou says, "Hey, I hate to interrupt a tender moment, but Lambert just found something. He says it's the gateway that Tyrk used to travel to and from Earth." Everything's just moving along at quite a clip, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Again, the pacing is note perfect with these two issues. Like, God, it's an exciting read. Like you don't read comics like this every time.
Nope.
And I love that. The the first panel on that bottom row, and then the second panel with Man Wolf and Kristine and embracing. I think both those panels are just fucking masterful. Just great.
Very cool, tender moment.
And so on the next page, this is the page of goodbyes. So, yeah, John tells Kristine, I have a few last arrangements to settle with Lambert, Chris. I want you to go on through ahead of me. And she's like, all right, John, but hurry. I'll wait for you on the other side. And John's talking to Lambert saying, Lambert, are you sure I won't revert to a mindless beast when I go back? And Lambert says, I cannot be certain that you have been changed by the power of the stone. I do know that only here are you the Stargod. And then, then it says suddenly, and then this big laser blast with a zzz comes and shoots and basically destroys the portal, or almost destroys the portal. And Jack's like, the portal, no! And Korshun says, Tyrk! And we see that Arisen Tyrk survived the blast. He looks hurt. He looks kind of fucked up. Yeah. But he's there, and he had just blasted the portal, and he says, you shall never see her again, Stargod. So we both lose, which means that in my own way, I win. And then my second favorite panel of the thing, similar colors to my first, is that Tyrk just gets blasted from behind, and we get, it's such a cool panel. His face and beard are kind of bathed in this white glow that he's basically just, dying or being melted. And it's this great kind of crackle black in the background, this great pink. And he's like, ah! And the next panel, we realize it was Duna saying, no, Defiler, that is a privilege of the just. And she says, Stargod, are you all right? And we see that John is just kind of looking into the portal, which looks still open, but that it's closing quickly is what I'm imagining.
I don't think so. On reread,
you don't think so?
No, he completely destroyed it. It's like a Stargate, it's a device, and it was destroyed. That is just the smoking remains. Like, that's just the smoking wreckage of it.
Okay. Really? Yeah, I guess. It's funny, though. It looks kind of like,
no.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
No.
Okay, fine.
He's just standing on the pedestal in front of it. It's gone.
Okay, it's gone.
So on the last page, we are at a bird's eye view looking down at a building in Manhattan. And it says, a rooftop in New York City. This is where Arisen Tyrk had moved his portal when the other site was rendered insecure. Okay, this is just...
I know.
Yeah. I believe the previous portal was that, Craven site? Probably?
I think so, yes.
Or his art studio at the university. And it says, this is where Kristine Saunders finds herself, alone, for dark and fearful hours. And we see just a tiny little figure. It's just a typical rooftop in the city. There's a little small building that has its doorway to the stairs, and she's just up there standing as the sun comes up. And it says, and then, as the rising sun lights the eastern sky, and she says, oh God, at last. And this yellow flash appears on the side of the stairwell building. And it says, but the portal opens slowly, too slowly. And she reaches out a hand with these rings all over it. And we see her screaming, John! And tears are welling up in her eyes. And then there's this plasma form of him, like kind of appearing slowly, like walking through the brick wall. And it says, he is still so far away. And we can see that he has the gems, the weird stone, and wolfen ears, and appears to like be a tuft of fur around his head. And then the bottom row here, he comes in more fully into view, and it says, yet already the change has begun. And he's turning back into John, clutching his hands like kind of in pain, saying, Chris. And then he collapses in human form. And she says, John, when the portal closed behind me, I thought, and he says, Tyrk wasn't dead. He destroyed portal, Jacob. Destroyed.
Fine.
That's a finality.
Fine. All right, fine.
Because you're undercutting his godness. He's like Neo now.
Yeah,
when he was there, he just created a portal and walked through it. Now he can't because he's not
there.
No,
you're right.
He says, I figured I was trapped, but the God Force was enough. And she says, you did it, John. You made it home. He says, all for you, darling. I did it all for you. And they're holding each other, and he has a 5 o'clock shadow. He hasn't shaved in a few days. He's got that sexy chestnut auburn hair that he's had recently. And the last page is the sun coming up, and it says dawn several months ago, because they have to remind us this is out of continuity. After a while, these two people will go downstairs and pick up the pieces of their lives. But for now, the light and each other are all they need. Next issue, the astonishing origin of the new Ant-Man. Meanwhile...
thanks, Marvel Premiere. We meet Scott Lang next issue.
Yes, we do.
I
didn't raise a glass for the apparent death of Arisen Tyrk on the last page.
That's right. Arisen Tyrk died. We drink.
Even if it's not forever.
Yeah, it's probably not forever, I'm assuming. But okay, so we have to establish a timeline with this last panel.
Right. We do. Because it's funny, right? Because we have interdimensional travel, which means time doesn't necessarily work the same way.
Nope.
We don't know how long he was there. This was intentionally meant to be an open-ended adventure. It was compressed into a very short time period, but we still don't know how long it was. But yeah, good question. What would you suggest?
Dawn several months ago. What does that mean?
In the turning of 78 to 70. Oh, that's right. God, Marvel time's completely different than our time anyway.
Well, let's say we go by cover date time because to do anything else is kind of pedantic. So let's
I thought they said I thought somebody in some interview said when they got pressed by a person in decades ago, so I don't know, Marvel time's every 3 years is 6 months or something. I'm saying that person was not speaking officially or anything, but
no. And I guess I'm not thinking about the big picture of what is Marvel time, but what is the time period? Because we're jumping into other issues that have nothing to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
How does this issue ending fit with the rest of John's stories?
I don't know, because you said that the remainder of the series, he calls on She-Hulk to help him go back to the other realm or something, right?
That's in She-Hulk series, and that's in a few years from now in Marvel time. So that's in 82. Well, no, not Marvel time, but in publishing time. I think the She-Hulk stuff is early 80s, and that's the only time we go back to Other Realm, if I'm correct. And so between now and those She-Hulk issues, we just have a lot of werewolf stuff. We got 2 issues of Marvel Team Up.
Mm-hmm.
We have 4 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. And we're just going to have to figure, I think we'll just have to decide where those fit in the continuity when we go through them. Because I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I mean, what's he wearing in this team up story? Is he wearing the
I don't know.
classic?
I thought so. Yeah, he is. So I don't know. We're going to have to, let's you and I put our heads together and figure out some way before next episode that we can make some kind of continuity sense of this.
Wait, why would we do that when we have an audience?
Okay. If you want to put it to the Pack brothers and sisters, I am all for it.
I would love that. If somebody wants to send in and tell us where would you slot in these upcoming Marvel Team Up issues in the Creatures on the Loose continuity, right? Is what you're saying?
Well, and the Amazing Spider-Man ones, honestly. Yeah. All the stuff in between this and She-Hulk, I want to know what the fuck, where are we going to put it?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. And when I was a kid growing up, I just assumed Marvel Team Up was, I didn't know the term, but I just assumed it was out of continuity.
It seems to be.
But then when we were on Russ's show, he was, Jack was in something and Peter Parker's like, oh, I know, Peter Parker's like, oh, I know that dude. That guy's a werewolf. I met him in San Francisco. Wait, so this all counts?
Yeah, that's true. So we, for our audience doesn't know, we were on Russ's show, Tomes of Evil, talk about Tatterdemalion. And there's a Marvel Team Up issue with Spidey and
Jack
Werewolf
and
by Night. And Buck was there too. So that was totally in fucking continuity. That was not out. So I know. And sometimes, was it Joe last episode that was talking about sometimes Marvel Team Up would finish stuff up too?
Yes.
Yeah. So I know. It seems like the first 30 issues or so of Marvel Team Up were totally out of continuity. Just here's 2 heroes teaming up and breaking shit. And
Yeah.
take that, kids. But I don't know. I don't know.
When did Marvel Team Up start? Around like 70, 72?
I think around there, yeah.
That's right, because our 12th episode was
Marvel Team Up 12. That's right.
So, yeah, I almost feel like this is that transitional period from comics are disposable pop art for little kids to like, oh, adults are reading these and they actually care, and they're like going, wait a minute, how could Pete be here and blah, blah, blah. So I think somewhere between the launch of Marvel Team Up, they were like, fuck, okay, these all have to actually connect.
Yeah, they have to connect.
Right? Like 3 years in, like you're saying.
I
Interesting.
don't know, man.
And it's also a way to say, oh, did you not know that Black Widow and Spidey did? Well, you better go pick it up, true believer. Might still be on the newsstands.
Yeah, but it totally wasn't because circulation sucked. So I swear to God, every time that Stan and then later Roy did that, I honestly want to know a percentage of how successful that was for a fucking kid who's getting it from like some old-timey newsstand in New York. It's comics. Like, how often was the kid able to be like, oh shit, I got to go pick up that issue, and then was actually able to pick it up? I don't think often. I'm just going to say, I don't think often.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. Benjamin Stanciano didn't have that last issue, you know?
Yeah, man, I'm curious now. I can't wait to read these team ups. First of all, because it's got Frankenstein's monster and Spider-Man getting ready for Man-Wolf to join them, and they're skiing. I forgot about this one. I've actually read this a long time ago.
It looks goofy as shit.
Yeah, but I mean, then we get a Conway, Sal Buscema, Vinnie Coletta. All right, well, you know, and is that Karen Mantlo? Who's the Kay Mantlo?
I think so. Didn't we have her on something? I thought, yeah. I know. It's gonna be a tonal shift, my friend.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to shake shit up a little bit. What the hell?
A guy with a monocle.
Yeah, I see him
ranting and raving. I mean, yeah, it's definitely we went to a really cool Edgar Rice Burroughs place, and now we got to go back to this Saturday morning cartoon place with John. That's okay.
And Conway wrote these, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay. I mean, he's not long for the company, I think, at this point.
No.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Cool,
Well,
man.
we'll figure it out. We figured it out before. We can pivot.
I can pivot.
Yeah.
So final thoughts on this thing, though. This was, I'm glad that we read this way. I think that this was, doing it any other way. I'm glad you made that call that I had undone Marvel's editorial work on the collection and broken it.
No, I think that was the way to do it. I think that this issue was a totally awesome conclusion to I think one of the weirdest and coolest stories of Marvel's Bronze Age, and I love that Joe Keating agreed too, and just was like, nope, this is up there. This is probably the weirdest.
And Joe Keating didn't know it, and he's a huge fan of this era of comics.
Exactly, and I was thinking more and more about it, and I was thinking, especially for these two issues, these two episodes that we're doing on these issues, this is God's work, my friend. This is Stargod's work that we're doing, because these issues have not been readily available until just the last couple years. The Man-Wolf collection came out in 2019. I don't know when these issues were added to Marvel Unlimited, but I bet it's within the last year.
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
So, I mean, these issues have not been available to the general public unless you happen to pick them up in single issue, and some long box at your comic shop, just because they looked badass. But I really doubt these sold a ton. I'm sure they didn't sell nothing, but So I think that what we're doing is shedding, kind of shining a light on something that was very obscure and not available. And now it is very obscure and available. So people are able to use their Marvel Unlimited subscription to check these issues out and realize what a Bronze Age gem this story is.
Yeah. So what's the deal with this? When we made the decision to cover Man-Wolf this season, I was doing some Google image searches, And the very famous cover to Marvel Premiere 45 was coming up a lot in this True Believers #1 Annihilation Manwolf reprint. There's
What
a
the
Nova one. What were these Annihilation tie-ins? Was it just Marvel Cosmic? It says publication year 2020.
I don't know that at all. And on GCD, it talks about, where these stories were reprinted, and it doesn't talk about that at all.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's touched that since COVID. So I think it's I think it's those 2 issues were published under the Annihilation banner. I can't imagine what Nova story they did with that, but I didn't know Annihilation was still a thing. I thought that was 2009.
Yeah, that's a blind spot for me. But, Marvel loves to publish like 100 titles a month.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know about that. But I still get single issue comics and look at the pull sheets and look at what's released. And I didn't fucking know about that. So I'm not sure it's super well known.
So I kind of, just judging by the branding and the handling of it, it looked like one of those things like if you went, not Free Comic Book Day, but like if you went and bought like some Annihilation omnibus or something like that, like you would get these, Bronze Age, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy or Nova or whatever, like just anything cosmic-y. They were just kind of throwing it out there as like a freebie, like tchotchke kind of like, and here's something else. Thanks for spending $125 on 40-year-old comics.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But again, I mean, that's just for people that will shell out for the giant omnibuy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I still think my point is the same, is that these are fairly obscure. This is a fairly obscure story. These are fairly obscure titles that are available easier now, especially through Marvel Unlimited. Like a lot of people have Marvel Unlimited. I know it's best to experience these in the single issue, or at least in a collected format, in a physical format. But if you at least want to experience the weirdness, experience the kind of epic fantasy that Kraft and Perez did in this story, you can find it on Marvel Unlimited and you can check it out. And I think that's great. I think that the more light that can be shined on things like this from the Bronze Age, I mean, that's why we love the Bronze Age. It's why we have this podcast. It's why we're going to have 10 more seasons of this podcast, because there's that much weird, cool shit in the Bronze Age to talk about. And I think this is the perfect example of that.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
And everyone has had such a big reaction to these issues too, like fans of the show and people who support us on Patreon. Everyone who, I mean, everyone, Brad. And I think it was on Instagram, I think it was Jason Atomic who was talking about how, that he picked this issue up on the stands when it was released. Yeah. And it's one of his favorite issues. Like, I just think anyone that's exposed to these issues instantly loves them and realizes how cool and special they are.
Does he have some Elizabeth Bathory thing going on? Like, how is he old enough to... He looks younger than me.
He does. I know. Yeah, he
Jason, how do you do it?
How do you do it, man? Undead.
Yeah, I felt like, the glowing Kenobi presence in the end of like Star Wars. I felt Brad like that there with me as I read this. Like, you can cut me down and not have me on this episode, but I will come back stronger than ever. You know what I mean?
I know. No, we're going to make it up to him by having him on the She-Hulk. The next time we go into Other Realm.
When we go to the Other Realm, you will be with us, Brad.
Yeah, you'll be with us, Brad. Don't worry.
It's weird because I love a mindless rampaging werewolf, but it's hard to go back to that after this. Like, you know what I mean?
It's going to be tough.
It's like when you're like factory sitcom from the 80s has a very special episode that's not one of those very special episodes that's like about touching and swimsuit parts. But I mean, like one where it's like you break the fourth wall and it becomes like it's Gary Shandling's show or something like that. Like, okay, so we just went completely meta. We did something really cool. Okay, let's go back to like, oh, my balls. Like it feels weird.
It's going to be weird. We're just going to have to kind of treat this as I don't know. I honestly don't know how we're going to do it. I mean, we're just going to go back and it's going to be fun werewolf shit, but it's going to feel weird.
So it's okay. 2 Marvel team ups and a few
2 Marvel team ups,
a few
three
ASMs.
I think 3 ASMs, and then I think we're back. I think we're back to Other Realm.
Did Kraft write She-Hulk? Is that why we went to the Other Realm? Okay, cool. I've become a Kraft fan, man.
Oh,
I gotta say that. I was not when he was towing the line and doing what he was assigned to do the first couple of issues. I was very, very skeptical.
I know.
But once he got to drive, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I know.
The Menchian stuff's kind of falling to the side, which I liked.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah,
when he embraced the Menchian florid purpleness, that was cool. But then, like, when he started going like to space, I'm like, oh man, Kraft's a genius.
Yeah, he is. He's a
David
great
Kraft,
talent.
Man.
Yeah, to David Kraft. I'll drink to that.
Fuck COVID.
Indeed.
Get vaccinated, folks. If you haven't got vaccinated yet, why are you listening to us? But get vaccinated. By the way, we just wrapped up an interview with Staple Spine Fanzine, a horror fanzine that's based here in Portland, which I fucking love.
That's right.
I'm very excited to be in an upcoming, maybe the next issue.
I hope so, since we totally got kicked in the nuts on the cover of the last issue.
Yeah. Man, we moved
featuring
some units, though, didn't we?
We moved those units. He used our name to sell copies, but then, it says on the top, like, featuring Werewolf by Night podcast, and then a handwritten, like, not this issue. But no, we're
just kidding, Jack. We love you.
We do love you, Jack, and we're excited to have the interview that you've been doing with us be in the next issue. So,
yes. And that issue kicked ass anyway, even though we weren't in it.
It did. I really liked it.
I picked one up, and if you guys haven't read it yet, you need to check it out. You can go to staplespinefanzine.com, I think is the website. I don't know, but you can also ask your comic shop to carry them as well, because they might foot the bill for the shipping, which is nice. Yeah,
that would be nice. No, I love, more and more comic shops are having, little zine sections for their stands, which is great. I mean, we've been spoiled growing up in Portland and being in Portland for so long. I mean, there's
for me. Yeah.
But there's always been, zines, photocopied at fucking Kinko's and stapled zines have always been within our grasp, but even Powell's for years, had a zine section here in Portland. So,
yep. Was it Reading Frenzy? Was that the place that had everything in the world?
that was the premier zine. That started as a zine store, an actual zine shop that was founded by Chloe Udaly.
That's right.
Who's a great friend of ours and who was a wonderful city commissioner for 2 years here in Portland. Did a lot of progressive things and got totally creamed by the landlord lobbyists. Yep. So take that. Trying to give renters rights. Come on.
There should be a short doc about her life career.
Yeah, no, I mean, Chloe is a gem of Portland. For when she was running for city commissioner, she got Joe Sacco to do a little zine about her fucking campaign. I have it because it's amazing. I was just like, holy shit.
I like him.
Yeah, but she's very, she was a huge part of what made Portland. And Reading Frenzy, my wife sold a lot of her. My wife would make years and years ago. She would make these little like matchbooks. They were like the size of a matchbook, but it was a story that she would open up, and it would be pages and stuff, and of all these things that she would write. And she sold those. Sold a lot of different stuff at Chloe's shop. So no, Chloe is a treasure.
Does she not do those anymore?
Alicia doesn't do those anymore. She hasn't done them in a long time. I've been curious.
Peepers getting too weak.
I don't know. Yeah, the text was quite small.
So, did you get a chance to talk to Amy Carroll was on season 1 of the show, and her husband Pete was in my band Ex Hustlers for 10 years. And when we were all at Renee's birthday party, she was like, "Oh my god, I just realized that Alicia is Alicia. Like, I know who she is. I bought her art. Like, I've totally known Alicia in the Portland art scene for years. I did never put together that Jacob and Alicia was Alicia and Jacob."
Oh, she didn't tell me that. I didn't hear that.
We were chuckling about that the other day.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I totally know who Alicia is. I've bought art from her several times. I was obsessed with her peanut people for a while or something."
Oh yeah, Alicia and her peanut people. No, my wife was big shit. She's a big shit artist, indie weird artist in Portland for 2 decades. So yeah, she's the famous one out of the two of us.
So now that you're out of the limelight of Portland and you've
Yeah.
moved to the smaller climes, is she doing an Etsy store, or how's she selling her art?
Oh yeah, I mean since the pandemic started,
she's always been doing Etsy since 2020.
Yeah, since
Oh, okay.
2020. Yeah, it's all in that her Etsy stuff, which is I think her Etsy shop is under Miss Mudlark, and she's also on Instagram as The Amazing Justice, Justus, and
You need to follow that.
people can. Yeah. I mean, yeah, she's
She'll post
amazing.
stuff and you can message her and say, I want to buy that. And she'll sell it to you
Yeah, she
on
will.
Instagram. Mudlark.
Yeah, you know,
That's not
mudlarkers.
mudlarking. Isn't that diarrhea porn? I think I've heard about that from somewhere. Mudlarking.
No, mudlarking. A mudlarker is a person, and yeah, well, I think it's a Victorian term of someone that would go along like the River Thames and dig in the mud and find buttons or like Roman coins and stuff. And so,
Man,
yeah, so it's
the scrap pickers.
that's still a thing. I mean, you can still go on like a little mudlarking tour in London.
Yeah, I read one of my favorite nonfiction books was the Ghost Maps, about kind of like the dawn of like virology or bacteriology. But it's about, you know, how they figured out all the dysentery breakouts happened in London, and they started mapping the deaths and then realized, oh, this isn't humors, or this isn't like what do they call bad air? Miasma.
Miasma, yeah.
That's when like they started realizing like, there's an actual connection here. This is people that all have a commonality of using this well that's at this place. Let's check the water at the well. Let's look at it under these newfangled microscopes. Like, it's one of the most fascinating science books I've ever read. But it starts with the pickers, like the people who were like the tanners who would go and pick up dog shit, and their job in London in that era was like finding dog shit and using it to like cure leathers or whatever the fuck. Like, these people's jobs. I mean, like, you know, I'm saying that now like it's some insane thing, and it's like, well, we have a bunch of people that are just not doing that. They're just sleeping in tents in Portland. So, yeah, you know, if we we still have that class of people, we just pretend like we don't anymore.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think
I don't mean to imply that. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that they're lower class. I'm just saying economically. Just to be clear.
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting in front of an apology here, an official.
Please do. Please get in front of that. No, as far as Victoriana goes, no matter what room I'm in my house, I'm just an arm's length away from a terrifying book that recounts some kind of like Victorian crazy job that someone has. Yeah, because my wife just collects these books that are all just like Victorian horror stories of daily life, just people trying to make it and get by and doing terribly awful things. So,
picking through piles of garbage, Victorian garbage, and finding things that you might possibly repurpose or sell to someone who could repurpose, living on the fringes of society like that, harrowing. Yeah. And that plus Alan Moore and Eddie Campbell's From Hell, about the sex workers who would essentially trick drunken men into thinking that they were penetrating them, but just let them enter their thighs. I mean, just like, holy shit, man. You know, but it's all Ozzie and Harriet, right? Everything got bad when civil rights happened. that's when everybody discovered sex and shit.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how we got on this, but I love it.
Well, this is what the show is.
This is what the show is.
No, Jerry, this is the show.
This is the show.
So we have a special bonus episode this week.
That's right.
Instead of us doing a werewolf movie and a little show and tell or a little share and share, we're going to actually go do like a movie review, a preview. We're going to talk about what we're expecting or hoping to get out of Morbius, and then we're going to watch Morbius, and then we're going to talk about our experience immediately following that, and just kind of cut the two things together. So I'm not I'm not saying that I avoided all press about it, but I've tried to not read anything outside of like Twitter posts or something. So it's interesting. There was the immediate backlash, like we were talking with Joe last time about the like John Carter of Mars thing, where it's like everyone wanted that to be a failure, and then as soon as ticket sales didn't hit Disney's expectations on 11:59 of the first night, everyone said it failed. It fucking failed. Like there's this weird Schadenfreude thing. So I feel like there's some problems with Morbius, and people who wanted it to be problematic or were not interested in it succeeding are reveling in that and rolling around in it like dogs and shit.
Yep.
And I feel like people who are like, I knew it was going to be not perfect, but I just wanted to see a fun movie, are like, I actually had a good time. So I'm trying to go in with that mindset, the latter.
For sure. Yeah. And I'm excited. I live in Southern Oregon now. I'm coming up to Portland for the next few days. I'm going to be staying at your place, and we're going to make a day of it, and we're going to go film a little bit before we go in, check out the movie, and record our reactions afterwards. And that's going to be the bonus episode. And we might be a little
bonus show.
Yeah. That's a little preview of what you get as a Pack brother or sister. You get Matt saying that at the end of every bonus show.
So if someone were interested in hearing our take on Morbius pre and post viewing, how would they do that?
Well, there is a way to do that. Let me tell you about it, Matt.
Okay.
You would go to Patreon/Werewolf by Night podcast, and you could subscribe. We have a few tiers, and the top 2 tiers, I think it's at $3 and at $5, you get all of our bonus content. The lower tiers, you can get the audio show of our bonus feed, but it is not everything. Matt does an amazing job editing together our reviews, our record reviews, our reviews on comics, on werewolf media, and you do a really amazing job editing the video show. So if you subscribe at those 2 top tiers, you get the bonus video show. And that is the way to do it. That's the way to experience the bonus content for sure.
Yeah. Do you want to go to the drive-in when you're 10 and see Porky's in a car with a speaker? Or do you want to be outside of the fence and just hear the dialogue and imagine the boobs? I know what I want.
Yeah, I know exactly what I would want with that. And that is the perfect analogy.
Yeah, that is the Moon Beast and Pack Brother / Pack Sister levels of the Patreon.
Don't insult the Moon Beast people who give us money too. Come on.
They get the videos.
Do they get the videos?
Yeah. It's the lower tiers below Moon Beast.
Tiers below the Moon Beast or the Pack Brothers. Okay, yeah.
The lowest tier is the committee members. That's just people. I'm not insulting them. I'm not denigrating them. I'm saying they're just saying, hey,
here's a buck.
It's just throwing $1 in your guitar case. It's
totally cool.
Yep. I have no beef with them.
No, as you shouldn't, because they're people that give us money.
I love all the peoples.
They're going to be paying for our Morbius tickets.
Yes, they are. Good point. So I think we did it.
I think we did it too. I'm very excited that we got to talk about these 2 issues. First one was Joe, but I'm excited it was just you and me for this last one.
Me too.
Yeah,
I loved having Joe on. I love having Brad on, but it felt right to just be you and me.
No, for important milestones, it should be the 2 of us. But,
I agree.
But yeah, we're going to still have great guests. I'm going to start scheduling our new round of guests, some old, some new, and it's going to be good. So now we'd like to give a shout out to our Pack Brothers and Pack Sisters that support us on the highest tier on Patreon. Fine folks such as Michael G.,
Tim Tucker,
Brian from Marvel by the Month,
Josh Link,
Jeff Fitzpatrick,
Caleb,
Ben M.,
Michelle from Moonlit Comics,
Mark Nevins,
Rob Haferman,
Russ from Tomes of Evil,
Eric Hadley,
Brad L. Moore,
Johnny Turner,
Jackson T. Overstreet,
Tony Iupi,
Jared C.,
Brink,
and Ryan from Across the Bifrost.
Thanks for the support, folks. So another fun thing we've been trying to do on the Patreon page is kind of get a little interaction with our listeners going on. So I started a "What are you reading?" thread, and it's been cool to see what other folks are checking out. I've been posting some stuff that I haven't been reviewing for the bonus show. And, I missed having a cool comics forum to hear what people are reading. So if nothing else, you should join us on Patreon just to post and let us know what you're doing. Right, Jacob?
That's right. It's been fun seeing everybody's recommendations. I love it.
Yeah, me too. And I've checked out some stuff that you guys have recommended to me there and elsewhere, like The Silver Coin, Volume 1, and Radiant Black, Volume 1, stuff that's kind of being kicked around on social and in our circles. So I might talk about those on the show soon. But I think right now we are good to go, yes?
That's right. I think we're good.
Cool. Well, check out the bonus show where we talk about the new Morbius film. And
I guess we could talk about just ways to contact us if you're not a Patreon subscriber, which is our Gmail is werewolfbynightpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Instagram under Werewolf by Night Podcast. We're on Twitter under Werewolf Podcast. And yeah, if you want to be so kind as to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast platform you listen on, we would be eternally thankful. Because I want some more reviews.
Yeah. I
feel like we kind of hit a plateau, and I think I think we're ready for another round of decent reviews.
Yeah. I think we've plateaued on input.
Yes.
And I'm ready for more.
I'm ready for more as well. And if you want to leave us a kind, hopefully 5-star review, we will send you a pack of buttons made from real Werewolf by Night comics by me and my home button maker. And they look really cool, if I may say so myself. So
what if you live in Germany? Would you send them to Germany?
I guess.
Just asking.
I sent some to Tim Tucker, our
Carlson.
friend.
Just asking questions. I'm just asking questions.
I sent some to England.
What if
before.
you're in Ukraine and you want buttons along with some weapons?
Yeah.
I'm just asking questions. Would you send those? Well, thanks for joining us this week, listeners. Till we meet again beneath the full moon, furry ones. Here's Helen at ya.